and I am right. So I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a conscious manifestation life coach. I'm a Vedic astrologer, and I'm also the developer of immersive therapy, which is an emotional healing modality that I teach at Illuminations. The course is coming up soon, and I'll be talking a little bit about that today as well. But what we're talking about most importantly today is conscious manifestation. And it's basically an introduction to what conscious manifestation is and how we can understand conscious manifestation in the context of karma and why that is important. What really is karma is what we're going to talk about. You'll be surprised to know perhaps that it's not really what you think it is. It's a little bit more interesting than that. We're going to look at it from a new perspective than we have before. So hopefully this talk will be quite informative to you in that way. And then we're also going to do a meditation at the end for your benefit, so you can neutralize that karma, or at least begin the process of neutralizing that karma, right? Okay. So what is conscious manifestation then? Okay, to understand conscious manifestation, we first need to understand what consciousness is and what manifestation is, and then put them both together and understand what conscious manifestation is. Okay, so what is consciousness? Understand that consciousness is that part of us that is fully aware. It is that part of us that is fully aware of our emotions, and then aware of the thoughts that are creating the emotions in this moment, and not just in this moment, but also across time and space. We are in this matrix of time and space. This material reality called life that we are living currently is in a matrix of time and space. And consciousness is that part of you that is aware of this divine now moment, this incarnation, but not just this incarnation, but all of your other selves or other incarnations, past and future, across time and space. So consciousness is that aware part of you. All right. Now, what is manifestation? Manifestation is a symptom of the energy that you are. Simply put, if you are in harmony, you will create harmonious manifestations in your life. And if you are in disharmony, you will create what we call dis-ease and disharmony in your life, in all areas of your life: financial, relationship, work, career, whatever aspect of your life you can think of is a manifestation of the energy that you are being right now. Okay, your manifestations are a reflection of your inner world. So if you want your outer world, or your Maya, or your illusion, or what we call your life, which is basically just a feedback mechanism of whatever is happening inside, right? So if you want your life to change, then you have to start by changing your inner world. Because as I said, manifestation is the reflection. Your life is a reflection of whatever is happening in your inner world, okay? So when we talk about conscious manifestation, we first talk about becoming conscious, which is what? Which is aware. We first talk about becoming aware. And once we are conscious of who we are, conscious manifestation will automatically follow. Okay, so there are many ingredients in this whole process of conscious manifestation. A little bit of that we're going to touch upon today, along with the bigger thing that we're going to touch upon, which is karma. I want this to be an interactive session. So if you have questions at any point, please feel free to ask me. I want you to benefit as much from this hour as possible. So just ask away. I love answering your questions. All right. Great. So we are manifesting our life in every moment anyways. But when we move into awareness, we can start to consciously manifest by choosing what we would like to experience. Yeah. So, when people talk about you have choice, you have the free will. How do we exercise it? We exercise it by becoming conscious, by becoming aware of who we truly are being in this moment. That is the first step towards any kind of conscious manifestation. If you're not aware of who you are being in this moment, then you're living your life unconsciously. And conscious manifestation cannot be possible when you're living your life in unconsciousness. It's like it's on autopilot, right? when you're living an unconscious existence, it's like your life is on autopilot and things are just happening in your life. And you wonder sometimes, hey, I don't understand why this is happening in my life. I don't understand why I have manifested this difficult situation. Because guess what? You are not in the awareness of who you are truly being. You're not in your authenticity. And being in your authenticity is a huge part of becoming a conscious manifestor. Okay. So as I was saying that, one of the courses that I teach at Illuminations is immersive therapy. And in immersive therapy, because it is an emotional healing tool, we learn to balance our emotions so that we can let go of the heaviness, let go of the baggage that we've been carrying. And when we let go of that, we come into a space or a state of homeostasis, which is basically into a state of neutrality or balance, from where we can consciously create our life, because we become so aware of who we are being in this moment, how neutral or how unneutral we are being in this moment. We move into our authenticity, we can see ourselves more clearly. And then the process of this conscious manifestation starts. I'm going to talk a little bit about what it really means to be a conscious manifestor. What are the elements that you need to become a conscious manifestor? How can you start becoming a conscious manifestor in your life today? So we're going to take this in a few steps. And the first step to this is becoming mindful or becoming aware of your feelings and thoughts. What does that really mean? I want you all to just take a moment. Maybe close your eyes if that helps you. And just become aware of your feelings and thoughts in this moment. What are the thoughts that are floating in your mind space right now? How are you feeling right now? Just observe. Just observe yourself and become mindful of who you are being in this divine now moment. Mindfulness is simple. It's simply being an observer of the self. And if you can open your eyes now. How is that for you guys? Were you able to be mindful of the moment you're in and who you're being in this moment? Was that possible for you? You can just say a yes or a no on the chat. Great. Okay. So if you can be mindful in every moment, then you don't need to sit down in meditation. Meditation is simply a practice that allows you to become mindful in every moment. The ultimate goal of a meditation practice is for you to understand how to become mindful in every moment. And when you manage to become mindful or aware of who you are being in every moment, you can even eventually drop meditation, because then your life becomes a meditation practice, so to speak. Yeah. But that's down the road, right? We first start with practicing meditation so that we practice mindfulness, so that we practice becoming an observer of our thoughts. And then we can start practicing this in our daily waking life, at work, even in situations where we are actually essentially in situations where we are angry or agitated or sad or carrying any of those negative emotions. All right. So this is the first step about becoming a conscious manifestor. You have to move into awareness. The second step would be accepting your truth. That is your feelings or your thoughts. So it's about becoming authentic. Many times when we are mindful of who we are being in this moment, we don't want to accept who we are being in this moment. So you may not like what comes up. So if you're angry in this moment, then you may judge yourself for being angry in this moment. You may not be able to accept your anger, because you know what, when we are spiritual, we are not supposed to be angry people. Or when we are spiritual, we should know better. And so that actually deters us from authentically being who we are being in this moment. And we shove a lot of stuff under the carpet because of this, the way we should be or what we think we should be. And we land up not being authentic, and then we land up manifesting unconsciously from the debris that we are carrying, from the debris energy that we are carrying, from the negative energy that we are carrying that we have not addressed, which is still in our space because we're judging it, right? So the third step actually is moving into non-judgment about your feelings, recognizing that feelings are a construct of the ego, mind, personality. And you know what? It's the ego, mind's personality that creates karma. So we are still in those karmic entanglements. We are still in that karmic web, so to speak, till we don't deal with that heaviness in our space, in our mind space. Okay. So those are entanglements that must be dealt with, that must be first accepted and looked at with non-judgment, understanding that, hey, you know what, this is something I need to deal with. This is not something I need to shove under the carpet, because if it's in my space, then there's a reason it's in my space. So let me look at it. Let me see what this may hold for me. Okay. So the fourth step would be understanding that the ego, mind, personality is learning, keyword, learning through the experience of duality. What I mean by this is that if you're experiencing anger, then instead of judging that anger and shoving it under the carpet, try to understand the anger. And how can we understand this anger? Well, immersive therapy is all about that. But in short, you can actually talk to the anger and ask the anger, hey, what do you actually need me to do in order for this anger to dissipate? Or if you're feeling the sadness, then what does the sadness really want you to do? Why is it in your space? If it's in your space, there's a validity for it to be in your space. So understanding, befriending even sometimes that anger or that sadness that you're feeling, by understanding that, you know what, we are learning through these contrasting experiences. Because when we feel sadness, that is a lack of happiness. And if we are feeling sadness, then the reason we are feeling it is that we are meant to, by some way, come to a point of happiness, because we just learn through contrast in this third dimensional reality we call life. Yeah, is this confusing? If it is, please ask me questions, right? But tuning into the premise that this is Earth School, and every experience is teaching us an important lesson in self-realization, which means that every experience is helping us to come into alignment with what the non-physical soul wants to experience in physical third dimensional reality. So generally what the soul may be trying to, few examples are, I am powerful. And when the soul wants to learn being powerful, wants to experience being powerful in the third dimensional reality, many times we'll be put in situations where we feel powerless. Guess why? So that we can be pushed to the edge to find the power within, right? Or if the soul is trying to learn the lesson of, you know what, I am worthy. I'm worthy, and you know, I don't need any validation to be worthy. I'm just worthy by being me. If the soul is trying to learn this lesson, guess what's going to happen? Any guesses? I want to hear from you.
You will feel unworthy in most situations.
Absolutely. Bang on. High five. Virtual high five. So you'll be put in positions where, you know what, you're not really feeling worthy. Maybe you're not getting noticed, and that's making you feel very unworthy. That's not making you feel good about yourself at all. And you're creating judgments about yourself. But what is the soul basically trying to learn? Through this construct of duality, the soul is trying to learn a very important lesson of worthiness. Okay? So this is what you need to understand, that every difficult emotion that you are going through because of difficult experiences that you have been through are simply lessons that you are trying to learn about the self, are simply opportunities for growth and evolution in this third dimensional reality, from where we learn from the construct of duality. We learn from this contrast. So is that clear? Great. So the fifth step is understanding the lesson the negative experience or emotions were providing for your growth and evolution in your life context by going into past trauma or the inner child. So here the inner child becomes very important. Okay. Because why the inner child becomes important is because those experiences that have happened to us in our past, in our childhood, in our teenage years, even as recent as yesterday, even whatever happened yesterday can be considered an inner child. But mostly the experiences that have happened to us when we were children, they hold an impression on us even now. Those inner children, if they're not resolved, are very much alive in our space even now, and they need dealing with. They are the points of entry of that anger or that sadness that you may be feeling right now in your life that needs to be handled rather than shoving it under the carpet. So it's really important, and part of what we do in immersive therapy or in any therapy that you do actually would be to resolve the dilemma of the inner child, to bring those experiences to light, to learn from them, and to integrate that inner child into your current reality, to become more powerful in this now moment, to integrate your energy completely in this now moment so you can feel more powerful as yourself in this now moment, right? And then using the sixth point would be using the body's wisdom to digest negative emotions to arrive at that neutrality. So why am I talking about the body here? The body is an extremely intelligent mechanism for this third dimensional reality. Your mind can play tricks on you, but your body will never lie. Okay, so conscious manifestation can happen brilliantly if you actually acknowledge the body and what the body is really feeling. So when you have neutralized the emotion, are you feeling this neutrality in the body? Are you feeling this neutrality, this sense of peace, this ease in your body? If not, then hey, you know what? There's something there still, probably. So it's really important for us to start using the body's natural intelligence to heal from toxic negative emotions that we have been storing in our space, in our mind space, and also in our physical body. Because you know what? The mind and the physical body is one and the same thing. We may think it's different, but it's not really different. So you can actually feel this neutrality, this homeostasis in the body. And when you actually feel it in the body is when you can really start consciously manifesting your life. Okay. So it's really important to feel it, because your mind may say that, no, you know what? I'm okay. I'm doing better. But the body will not lie. The body will feel that unease. Have you been in a situation where you've entered, some space and you've not really felt right about being there? And you can't really pinpoint why, because there's no logical explanation for this, but the body knows. And we cannot ignore the intelligence of the physical body. And we need to start using this intelligence of the physical body more and more by tuning into our physical self, and through it connecting to what we are truly feeling, and through it connecting to our authenticity. All right. Okay. And the seventh point would be living in awareness and choosing your thoughts and emotions as an active observer of your life. So finally, we come to a place, when we've come to that space of neutrality, where we are in awareness, we've actually become mindful of who we authentically are being in this moment. And we have, digested those negative emotions that we were carrying in our space. We're not shoving them under the carpet anymore. We've digested them. We've understood the lessons they were trying to teach us. And I want you to observe here that I'm using the word digested and not released, because I believe that when you digest something, it nurtures you, it nourishes you. So likewise, the negative emotions as well, they are teachers in our life that when we digest, we get nourished and nurtured by them. We learn from them. They help us to grow in our lives. So it's really important to digest them, to learn from them. And then when you come to that space of neutrality, of course, the inner child work is really important here as well. But when you come to that space of neutrality and you're an observer of your life, you're an awareness of who you're being in the body and the mind right now, you become a conscious manifestor, because then you can start choosing which way you want to go. You can start choosing the life that you want to have. And you don't have to live in denial of who you are being anymore. This is a journey. Conscious manifestation is a journey of complete self-acceptance and complete self-awareness. All right. Any questions here? Because now we're moving on to karma and how this ties in with karma. But any questions here? I'd like you to ask me if you need more clarity on this. Anybody? Okay. So there are no questions here, and I'm going to move on. Okay, so let's talk a little bit now about karma and how it actually fits in to this conscious manifestation process. What is karma? Karma is simply imbalanced energy in your space. Okay, it is imbalanced energy in your space that needs to be balanced. Okay, so it's really important to first understand what karma is. It is not a punishment. Karma is not a, what we've labeled karma as a really bad thing in today's society, but it's not really that. It's simply energy that needs to be balanced. Okay, so that's neither good nor bad because everything is a perspective. It's simply energy that needs to be balanced. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what the law of karma is, because to understand karma even deeper, we understand now that it's simply energy that needs to be balanced. But to understand karma even deeper, we need to understand the law of karma, because it's actually a law. Like the law of gravity is a law of this third dimensional reality. Karma is also a law of this third dimensional reality. So what is karma? So karma is a metaphysical universal law according to which every action, so karma is action, has a reaction. This reaction does not judge the action, it simply responds to it. I'm going to come to that question. Okay, it is us human beings who judge the karma, and then we attract future experiences based on those judgments. It is important to understand that karma, simply put, is the action we take or even don't take. And the law of karma is about the response to that action. Okay. Now I'll explain this further. Now imagine that you have a ball and you throw the ball. The throwing of that ball is the karma that you have done. All right. Now, the ball will land according to how you have thrown the ball. So if you've thrown the ball hard, the ball will land far. That is the response of the karma. Okay. If you have thrown the ball really gently, then the ball will land closer to you. That is the response. And the law of karma states that karma is simply a call and response, so to speak. Okay, it's a metaphysical law according to which every action will have a reaction. Now, where does the balancer part come in? What happens is that many times when we throw the ball, we judge ourselves for throwing the ball. We judge how we've thrown the ball. So we say, oh, I don't think I threw the ball very well. Now that judgment of not throwing the ball very well is an imbalanced energy in the karma, because karma is simply action. It is about, I threw the ball and the ball landed there, and that is a karma that I did, and it had a reaction. Now, depending on that reaction, when I form a judgment, if I'm completely neutral about how I threw the ball, now this is a really silly example, we'll take a better example, but just so you understand it clearly, if I have complete neutrality about the way the ball was thrown and I move on and I just keep playing, there is no karma, there's no karmic imbalance, so to speak, here. But if I judge the way I threw the ball and say, hey, you know what, I'm a lousy player, then that is an imbalanced energy because I'm feeling badly. And that is a lingering negative energy in my space, which needs balancing, because the human being functions at its optimum capacity only when at homeostasis or balance. And karma is simply that mechanism that is always trying to bring us back into homeostasis. Okay, so now we will be in a situation where we'll have to resolve this energy that we are feeling of being a shitty thrower, of a shitty ball thrower, for example. I'm going to explain it a little bit further, but please ask me questions if you have any at this point. There are a few, I'm just going to take them. Could you please advise how I can release stored negative emotions from the body? That's what we're going to do a little bit later, Are. Okay, so taking it further, the response can be a scenario that is a platform in this physical reality to neutralize our judgments, as I just said a few minutes ago. Because whenever we are in a state of judgment, we are not neutral and hence out of a state of homeostasis. The human being, as I said, can only function at its optimum growth capacity when in a state of homeostasis. So this mechanism called life basically is propelling us constantly into getting into that state of homeostasis from where we can make aware choices towards growth and evolution. Because guess what? The purpose of life is to learn from the experience, or experience something and then, you know what, move on. Experience something and then, you know what, move on. And in that moving on, we experience different things and we grow. We're not stuck. And many times the human being gets stuck in karmic loops because it's not able to digest the negative imbalances in its space, and it gets stuck in karmic loops, sometimes even in lifetimes, over lifetimes, if you believe in that, or simply in your life, you know, where something that you were hurt about in your childhood affects you even today, because you know what, you've not resolved it, and that is imbalanced energy in your space, which comes back again and again and again and again in the scenario of different experiences, but similar in some sense, at least similar in making you feel the same way as you felt, you know, when you were a child, so that you can neutralize them and move on, so that that energy is complete, that experience is complete, and you are in homeostasis, in balance, in neutrality about that experience, and then you can move on. So karma is essentially that balancer. You get it? If there's any confusion here, please ask me. So if you're feeling stuck in life or in a particular situation, and you feel that it is because of your bad, so to speak, karma, then you can be certain that there is something that you need to learn from that situation to get unstuck, or to free yourself from that situation, or from feeling bad about that situation. For example, let's say that you're stuck in a bad marriage or in a bad job. But hey, you know what? You can't leave because you are financially dependent on your husband or your company. And you are scared that if you leave, you will be moneyless, or worst, homeless. So you decide to stay in a bad situation and blame it on karma. This is something we see very often, all the time actually. You start believing that it is your bad karma that has got you into the situation. And so you must now suffer for whatever you did in your past, even though you don't know what it was. According to me, this is escapism, because this situation exists so that you can learn something from it and grow into your highest potential. Because remember, the very purpose of life is growth. We are here to experience life and grow from all those varied experiences. So probably what you need to learn from the situation is to man up or woman up and walk out of that bad situation fearlessly. So maybe what you're learning is to be fearless, right? To go pursue your passion or live a life where you are not only surviving but thriving. Your lesson is to become a fearless version of yourself. It may not be easy, but then easy and difficult is just a perspective. You get it? So RA says, I'm so much critical of myself and others in my head. The judgment dialogue happens automatically as if it's a setup or installed program. It's an inner child. I train myself a lot to change that, but it is still occurring. RA, that is a typical example of an inner child. Because until that inner child, or that energy, that negativity that the inner child is carrying is resolved, you are going to be reacting the same way in a situation. Okay? And even though you try to train yourself, you know, positivity, we feel that, and these days especially, we feel that, you know what, positivity is something that you can use to get out of a situation. And if you use it and you apply it, you should feel differently. Firstly, this should feel differently is very confusing, because there's nothing that you should be doing. You are either feeling it and doing it, or not feeling it and not doing it. Okay. So the should and I should do this is a judgment that keeps you stuck in that loop of karma. You basically need to work on that inner child and resolve that emotion that is coming from that inner child. And when you do that, you'll realize and you'll notice that, you know what, the self-judgment doesn't exist anymore. I really feel good about myself. I don't judge myself anymore. It will be an automatic change that will happen in your space. You won't have to do anything to change that. You get it? Was I clear, Are? Okay, Ivana says, what is needed for a person to push over the fear and to make the change, i.e. learn the lesson and move on, to stop feeling trapped? So that is a good question, Ivana, because you need to learn. You need to learn what the negative emotion is actually trying to teach you, or the negative experience is actually trying to teach you. What was it pushing you to become? Who was it pushing you to be? Right? And when you've truly learned that lesson, Ivana, when you've truly understood that, you won't feel trapped anymore. It will be like a eureka moment for you, and it'll be an aha moment, and you'll feel relief at understanding this life lesson, so that you can move on and choose the life you want now, and not be trapped in that same loop of karma. You see, you'll receive that eureka aha moment that you need in order to grow. Right? So perhaps you're not able to push over the fear right now because you are not acknowledging the truth of what you're feeling completely, and you're judging yourself for not moving on, and that has kept you trapped in the loop. Yeah. Did you get that, Ivana? Please let me know if you need more clarity. Great. So RA says, yes, thank you so much, but how can we heal the inner child? Well, that is what we do therapy for. We do inner child healing, and immersive therapy, which I teach, I also teach it, and I also do private consultations, is a brilliant way to heal the inner child. It's a brilliant way to heal that emotional baggage that we are carrying within us, that is holding us from living our highest destiny. Right? Because the emotional baggage that we are holding on to from our past, from our childhood, from even previous existences, if you may, but you know, when you resolve it in the childhood, and when you resolve it in the now moment, it resolves across time and space most of the times, right? So that emotional baggage that you're holding on to is actually keeping you from receiving your highest destiny, from living your highest destiny, right? So there's a whole technique we use to heal the inner child, and hypnotherapy is brilliant for that too. Immersive therapy is brilliant for that. Yeah. So there's a technique that you can use to heal the inner child, and you will notice that you immediately get out of the traps. Great. So any questions about karma? There seems to be a lot of clarity, which is amazing to me actually, because whenever I do the karma talk, there are multiple questions that come up, because many times people believe that karma is meant to be a punishment. Karma is meant to be something that, is the bad guy, really. So do you guys have any feelings of karma being the bad guy, or have you understood what karma really is clearly? Great. Yeah. So, I mean, if you want, I can give you another example so you understand this even more clearly. So, that's a question I get often. I was surprised I didn't get it. So let's take that. What about people who hurt others just for the sake of hurting them? Yeah, this is a great question, Patricia. Yeah, that's Patricia. Okay, so this is a great question. I mean, as human beings, we have to understand that the natural state of the human being is neutrality, is, being in that awareness, being in that observer mode, being in that peace and that bliss, if you may, right? And no human being actually in its natural state wants to hurt somebody or cause the other pain. That is not the intention. That is not the nature of the human being. We have to first understand that if this person who, is hurting people just for the heck of it, is actually doing it not for the heck of it, but because there's some deep rooted issue that is actually hurting this person. Yeah. And probably hurting others makes this person feel less bad about themselves or validated in some way or whatever they are feeling. But the point is that this person is hurting, and from that imbalanced space of hurting himself or herself, she's actually projecting that outward and hurting others. This is a very unhealed person, because the natural state of a human being is just neutrality, is just being in observer mode, being in peace and bliss. And in their natural state, the human being does not want to hurt anybody. Because in the larger scheme of things also, Patricia, we need to understand that we are all one. We are just projections of that consciousness, that is one consciousness. But we are experiencing different things as Ruchi, as Patricia, as Ivana, and as everybody on this call and everybody on this planet right now. Because through each individualized perspective of the one, we are growing. And the whole purpose of life, as you know, is growth and evolution. So through each and every one of our experiences, we are actually growing and getting to higher and higher levels of consciousness, if you may. Higher and higher levels of awareness, if you may. Yeah. I hope that answers your question, Patricia. Is that just a lesson to learn? So I hope that answers your questions. Yana says, the feeling when after being hurt by someone, there are so many thoughts about what is wrong with me? Why do I get so much pain? While those people go around, hurt others, and then go on living happily. Yeah. Yeah. But what you need to understand, Yana, is that why are you encountering people who are hurting you? Okay, there's nothing wrong with you. There's just an unhealed part of you that is attracting people who hurt you. Okay, because we are attracting everything in our life, either consciously, as I said, or unconsciously. So unconsciously, Yana, there's a part of you that is attracting hurtful people into your life. It's related to an imbalanced energy within you. Maybe a pain or a sadness from your childhood that you've not yet dealt with. And when you deal with this, when you digest this experience and emotion within you, you'll be able to move forward with ease and grace, where you will attract loving people into your life, right? You won't attract those people who hurt you in your life anymore. So this is coming from an unhealed part of you that you need to deal with. And you need to stop shoving under the carpet by believing that, it is the other person's fault. It's nobody's fault. It's just an unhealed emotion within your space, because everything in your life is a reflection of you. So it's just an unhealed energy within your space that you need to deal with, right? Yana, does that answer your question? Okay, Anita says, what about situations that are presented to us, challenges, trauma, out of control? How are those linked to karma? Great question. As I said, karma is basically an imbalanced energy that is coming, from your past. Could be your childhood, could be DNA memories, because we all carry DNA memories from our parents and our grandparents. Perhaps you want to call them past life memories, whatever feels comfortable to you. Basically, karma is an imbalanced energy that is in your space that needs to be cleared. And the challenges that are coming your way, the traumas that you are facing, are all related to that imbalanced energy in your space. So the minute you balance that energy and move into neutrality, either the situation that is troubling you in your life will change, or if the situation doesn't change, then you will change enough that the situation doesn't affect you anymore. Yeah, makes sense? So you get how it's related to karma. It's imbalanced energy coming from the past and being presented in your life as a challenge so that through this duality of challenge, you can balance that energy and grow from it. Balance that energy and grow from it. So for example, you know, we spoke about a bad marriage a few minutes ago, right? So this is a challenge in this woman's life who has this really bad marriage. She's married to a man who's probably abusive, you know, and that's daily trauma that she's going through. And, you know, she can easily say that this is karmic, and you know what, I may have been a bad person to him in my past, or whatever, I have to suffer for my sins, or, you know, I've sowed this, so I have to reap it, all those illusions. But in my opinion, those are all escape mechanisms, because we have the choice to live our life the way we want to. So when she understands that, and when she understands that this challenge in her life is simply presented to her in order for her to learn something from this difficult situation, she needs to learn something and grow out of it. When she accepts that, and when she rises to that challenge of either leaving him or, you know what, standing up to him, whatever that may be for her, and she neutralizes that energy of anger that she's feeling towards her husband, or sadness that she's feeling towards her husband, by doing what she needs to do to grow herself, to become a better and better version of herself, she will come back into homeostasis. And in a space of homeostasis, there is no more karma. Karma ceases to exist. So either her husband will walk away, giving her a chunk of money as alimony, or you know what, he will change and they'll still be married, and he won't be the same person anymore. He'll be very, very remorseful for whatever happened to her and what he did to him. And he'll be such a reformed husband that they'll have a completely different marriage. You get it? You get it, Anita? So are you guys understanding this? Patricia says yes. Oh, there are a lot of more. Okay. Ivana says, does it mean that both people who share karma in some way are supposed to learn a lesson? Or is it only for one of them? And if so, how would the person know who is supposed to learn or not? So for this very reason, this is a great question, Ivana, and it can be confusing, but we need to start looking at reality from our own perspective. Okay, we need to center our life within the self. So we need to become self-centered. And when I say self-centered, don't confuse this for selfish. I don't mean selfish, but we need to become self-centered, where we need to believe that everything in our life is emanating from us. And so if everything in our life is emanating from us, and we are the creators of our reality, or the co-creators of our reality with the universe, the only person that we are creating, well, not person, but the only thing or the only energy that we are creating our lives with is with the universe. We are in a partnership with the universe and nobody else. Then we will understand that when we shift our energies within, the universe will respond to that and shift our life outside as well. So it doesn't matter who the other person is. The only thing that matters is, what am I learning through this experience? How am I benefiting and growing from this experience? What is this experience pushing me into, right? So that is the important question you need to ask. Do you get it, Ivana? And so the other person becomes secondary, you know, because the other person will respond to whatever shift has happened within you. Right, Ivana? So Anita asks, yes. And how to heal those energies? Well, I will say again, immersive therapy is a great way. And, you know, I think in the first and second week of May, I'm doing a lot of talks on immersive therapy. I'd love for you to join those talks so you understand how we can actually use immersive therapy to neutralize karma and to neutralize those heavy energies in our space. So it will be very helpful. Ari, I like this. So the annoying people that I meet at work and have to work with are my karma. Well, they are not your karma. No, you can totally change that equation there, is what I mean by balancing your karma. So you are attracting these annoying people at work because there's something you need to learn from these annoying people. Ask yourself, what am I learning? Am I learning to ignore people and focus more on the self? Or am I learning to pay more attention so that I can learn something from these people? I mean, whatever it is for you, you need to learn that so that these annoying people are not so annoying anymore. Yeah. So Vera asks, hi Ruchi, thanks for this very enlightening seminar. Any advice for someone who is doing her best to become a better version of herself, but have a tendency to cling to old patterns that no longer serve her, unresolved? Vera, there's something unresolved, which is why you're clinging. So this is really important that we stop judging ourselves, because in this statement, there's a little bit of judgment for the self. I want to move forward, but I'm clinging. And I'm such a clingy person. Immediately we jump into conclusion that I'm a clingy person, maybe coming. I cling on to old things. But there's a reason you're doing that. Because your natural state of being, Vera, everybody's natural state of being is balance and homeostasis. Okay. So if you're not being balanced, if you're not in homeostasis, then there's something unresolved in your space that you just need to look at and deal with. And then you'll move into balance. So these are all labels that we need to drop. I'm a clingy person, I'm an angry person, I'm depressive. These are labels that are not true. They're not the truth of who you are. Okay, they're just labels that we have attached to ourselves because of certain experiences we've had and we've not been able to overcome. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Also, how can I let go of people or situations that I've grown comfortable with over the years, who I feel I've outgrown? That's interesting. That can be a little difficult. But if they're still in your life, these people, Vera, then they're serving you in some way. Either even being comfortable with somebody is a beautiful space to share with somebody. I may not grow with you, but I'm comfortable with you, and it's nice having you around. We need all kinds of people in our lives. So, let's not judge ourselves for clinging on to people who we are comfortable with. That's not really clinging on. That's just being comfortable. And there's a difference between the two. You get it, Vera? I hope that's clear. So I'm waiting to hear from Vera about if that's clear or if she has some more questions. And there are no more questions. Okay. And we do the meditation. Otherwise, we're going to skip the meditation. It's a short meditation, but it's a really valuable meditation. Yeah. RA says, every time I catch myself judging myself or putting labels or trying to justify my actions or personal choices, I should stop and tell myself that I don't need that. Yes. Yes, RA, you don't need that. And you just need to look at the situation. And if there's an imbalanced energy there, you need to neutralize that energy, learn from it, and move into neutrality or homeostasis. Right? But judging yourself is not helping anyone. You're keeping yourself stuck in a loop of sorts. You're either keeping yourself stuck in a loop of anger or hatred or whatever that is, whatever that loop is for you. But it just keeps you stuck in that loop, and it's serving nobody. There's no growth in judgment. You see? You get that, RA? All right. So Vera says, yes, thanks, Ruchi. I get confused though when people tell me to get out of my comfort zone. Well, you know what? It's your life and it's your comfort zone. So if your comfort zone is something you want to keep and still grow, there's a choice you can make to do that. Growth does not mean that you let go of things that are easy or effortless. No, that's, in my opinion, that's not growth. You can make choices to add things to you that help you to grow, but it's not always about getting you out of your comfort zone unless you're feeling stuck and stifled in your comfort zone. So if you're feeling stuck or if you're feeling uneasy and, like, for example, you're in a bad relationship, but you know what, it's comfortable, you've been in this relationship for so long, it's like a rut, then that's not your comfort zone, so to speak. It's a feeling of being stuck that you need to, which is an imbalanced energy that you need to balance in your space, and hence you need to get out of that. So that's not really a comfort zone. But hey, you know what? I'm more in my comfort zone when uh, I'm eating dinner every day. Even though I'm supposed to be intermittent fasting, then if it, you know what, it's different for everybody. And if you're feeling good having dinner every day, then that's fine. You don't need to intermittent fast. You know what I mean? That you need to be very, the key is to be very authentic with the self and realize that, am I feeling stuck here or am I feeling comfortable? I know that I'm comfortable with these people and I like hanging out with them, but they're not contributing to my growth anymore, perhaps. But it's fine. I like it. It's comfortable. So you know what? You can have your cake and eat it too. So maybe keep these friends and add more people who stimulate you to, your life. And that's kind of like having your cake and eating it too, if you know what I mean. Yeah, Vera, I hope that clears things. Great. Thank you, but I'm a little confused now. I studied in psychology that judging is one of the human's cognitive functions that is used to learn. Okay, so when I'm talking about judging here, we can all have opinions. Okay, opinions are about choices that we prefer. So I see this for what it is, but I choose this because I prefer this. Yeah, but judgment keeps you stuck in a loop, because when you're judging, you believe that the other thing is wrong and your thing is right. And that keeps you stuck because there is no one right or wrong. It's just a perspective. Yeah, you get me, RA? Sometimes judging makes me know what's right or wrong. Well, I have a little bit of an issue with the word judgment per se, because in my reference point, when you judge something, you get stuck in a box with it. So I prefer the word opinion, and I want you to see how that feels for you. Like, I think it's a lighter word to embrace. You can have an opinion. I mean, it's important for us to have an opinion to understand what we prefer, right? So I think that this, both options are great, but this works for me better, right? So that doesn't mean you're making a judgment. That just means that you know your mind, you know yourself, you're being authentic, and you're acknowledging what you prefer. Yeah. But what happens when we judge is that we get stuck in a box where we believe that what we know is right and the other thing is wrong. That's what I mean by judgment, at least. So you get that? That's the distinction I'm trying to make. Yes. So yeah. So yes, RA. So I'm talking about opinion. Opinion is, everybody has an opinion. And by having an opinion, you're just reinforcing what feels right to you. And that's great, because you need to choose. Conscious manifestation is all about choosing what feels right to you. Awesome. I'm glad you got that. But judgment is something completely different. It can lead to criticism. Thank you, RA. I love you being on my sessions. All right. So yeah, so just, to reiterate about judgment keeps you stuck in a loop, which when we are in judgment, we cannot be in observer mode. We cannot be in awareness. So it's important to distinguish the two energies. And of course, you're going to have an opinion. That's being authentic is so important, right? So please go ahead and have an opinion, but don't get stuck in it, because you may change your opinion tomorrow, and that's beautiful, because it's exciting to grow and, experience different things and have different opinions through this journey of life. Right? Okay, lovely. I'm glad it's enlightening. Thank you for that. So are we ready to do the meditation? So this is awesome. So this is a meditation to get into a state of neutrality, to release karmic entanglements, right? So wherever you are, just relax. Get comfortable. I want you to keep your spine erect. So if that means you want to sit straight, that's fine by me. Or if you'd like to lie down with your spine erect, that's fine too. When your spine is erect, it ensures a smooth flow of energy. So close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you return to normal breathing, connect with your body. Your body is a physical representation of you in this divine now moment, in this eternal cosmic story. Notice the energy pulsating through your body. Feel its tingling, its vibration through your body. Connect with your mind now and observe the thoughts going through your mind like waves in an ocean. Just observe the waves in the ocean of your mind. Don't engage with the thoughts, simply observe them. Observe yourself in this divine now moment, body and mind. And now, connect with the observer, that part of you watching your body and mind. This is your awareness. This is your consciousness. You are all three: body, mind, and consciousness. You are an embodiment of divine consciousness itself. Just be with yourself for a few moments. Let's get into a deeper state of relaxation now. I want you to feel a wave of relaxing light entering your body through the toes of both your feet. This wave of relaxing light can be any color. Whatever color vibration is needed by your body and mind right now will manifest as this relaxing wave. This wave of relaxing, soothing light enters your body through your feet, relaxes your feet, your ankles, relaxes the calves of your legs, your knees, your thighs, and your hips. And your legs are illuminated and relaxed. Feel this relaxing light entering your pelvis, relaxing your abdomen, moving further up to relax your solar plexus, your chest, your shoulders. Relaxing your arms, your hands, and your fingers. Feel this relaxing wave of light in your spine, relaxing your lower back, your middle back, and your upper back. And your torso is illuminated and relaxed. Feel this relaxing light entering your neck, relaxing your scalp, your forehead, your eyebrows, softening your forehead, relaxing your eyes, your nose, your mouth, and your cheeks, relaxing your jaw. And from head to toe, your entire physical body is illuminated and relaxed. You are now in a receptive state to release a toxic karmic pattern that is stopping you from living in peace and neutrality. I want you now to bring to mind a situation or an experience that has been bothering you. Notice how this situation makes you feel. Angry, scared, sad. Just be with it. Allow yourself to feel what you are feeling without judgment. It is okay to feel what you are feeling. I want you to feel this in your body. It is okay to feel it in your body. Give yourself the permission to feel this right now in the presence of this healing light. Now, say in your mind, I choose to look at this situation with awareness. And I choose to move into a space of neutrality by learning what this situation is trying to teach me. Wait for the lesson. It may come to you. Even if it doesn't come to you in this moment, know that you have now opened up to releasing this painful karmic pattern, because you are now choosing to look at the situation with awareness. I want you now to give gratitude to the situation, because it is simply a platform that is allowing you to neutralize your emotional baggage so that you can move into more understanding and more awareness about yourself and about your highest potential in this life. All so that you can evolve into the best version of yourself. Give gratitude to the unfolding of this karma. And just be with a healing light in your space for a few moments as it does its work. Slowly and gently take a deep breath. Come back into your body. Connect back with this divine now moment. Take another deep breath and integrate back into your space, into your body, right here, right now. Move your toes and your fingers and open your eyes whenever you feel ready. How is everyone feeling? Great, Ivana. Great, Natalie. Thank you, Ivana. Thank you, everybody. I'm glad you enjoy it.